Hello, hello. Welcome back. Oh, hi. I'm so happy to be here with you again. I love Tuesdays. I love this time that we get to be together. So thank you so much for showing up and sharing this time with me. If you wouldn't mind, one of you who's here, just type something in the chat so I know that you can hear me, so I know that everything's working well. That would be useful for me. I also just have a quick ask, whether you're watching this live right now or if, when this is hi, Jackie. So, Jackie is someone I've known since, is it high school or junior high that we've known each other? So that's a wonderful connection for me to now be sharing this with her. Thank you, Jo, for letting me know that you can hear me. I appreciate that a lot. Um, Thank you, Jean. I'm glad that you're here too. So for anyone who's been here, again, like I was saying, whether you're here live or watching it later, leave me a comment on how this is going for you. Like, since you've started attending this tapping circle, are you noticing a difference in your stress levels? Are things just a little bit easier? Maybe on something specific that we've tapped on. Have you noticed that being a little bit easier? I'm just curious to know what feedback would be from this. A couple of you have shared emails with me. Some of you share in the chat live. That helped me so much. That's really, it helped release what this thing was. And I appreciate that so much because the whole reason for me doing this is to show up for you. So knowing that it's been effective is really helpful. I see I'm tilted up a little high, so I'm going to move my camera. Okay. Um, Hello, Cincinnati. Hi, Susan. Oh, thank you. Yeah, these are makeup dots. I have these stick-on rhinestones, which I think are prettier because they're sparkly, but they fall off, particularly these two when I talk. So I've had to use makeup instead. Tulsa, James. I grew up in Choctaw, so not far from where you are. Allowing surrender. Okay. Hello, Jocelyn in Canada. KCI. Oh, Mallory, first time. I'm happy to have you here. Oh, Dorothy in New Zealand. I have heard so many beautiful things about New Zealand. I'm excited to have you here. Okay, help with the headache. So some physical pain. Okay, Sweden. Hi, Eva. Um, Second live session. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, so good to see everyone. Hi. Okay, so I did have someone write in an email. Uh, Something that to tap on that I feel is very relatable. So that's one of the things that I'll go ahead and start with, and then I will start picking things out of the chat. So please go ahead and start writing in the chat what you have showing up for you today, things that are in your way, things that are heavy in your heart, or just something that you're curious about. It can even be something good like, oh, I've got this work promotion that I'm, competing for, and I would love some more self confidence for that. That works too. It doesn't have to be something heavy and traumatic. We need a large spectrum of things, and tapping works for it all. So, because of the way it targets the stress of that situation. So, the first place we're going to start with tapping is on clutter. And I love that she brought this up because it's so relatable. I am such a clutter bug. Like, I have clutter everywhere. Like, you can even see right here. It's could be my middle name. And she mentioned the stress of she thinks about it all the time. She doesn't do anything about it. I also feel like that's relatable. Like when we have something that we know is in our way, we feel it's in our way, but we also kind of feel powerless to it, but then we also judge ourselves because it seems like such a simple thing. Why isn't it just gone? Like, why don't I just get up and do it already? Right. Um, Before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a few breaths. So relax into your spot. I feel like I'm kind of close. Yep, I'm falling off my seat. Okay. Rather than try to scoot on the back of my stool. Okay. Stable ground. There we go. So get comfy. If your body feels tight somewhere, maybe roll your shoulders, your ankles, relax some tension. If you notice you're clenching somewhere, maybe your jaw. And we're going to take a deep breath in and relax. And just let your body sag with your exhale. And just let that relaxation trickle down all the way down. Breathe back in and relax again with your out breath. And just breathe normally, staying in a relaxed state if it's comfortable for you. We won't stay hunched over for long. And just watch that tension just kind of seep out of your body. It's just continuing to drip out. Gravity is pulling it down and out, down through your legs, down through your toes. And go ahead and sit back up to where you're balancing yourself on your spine, but you're relaxed and comfortable. Open your eyes back up if you had your eyes closed. And let's go ahead and place our hands over our hearts and just set an intention and a purpose that we're here to be together at this time with each other, with other people who are reaching out for connection, who are reaching out for assistance, who are people, who are humans, who have similar struggles and questions, who are actively looking for answers and support, and that we can all connect and be the same in that space. And that today, whether or not you feel comfortable putting your issue in the chat, that you're heard, that you're seen, that you're receiving love, and that whatever we tap on today, you get to receive benefit, that it's something that will address relaxation for you, that will train your body in a healthy technique for you, and that this is a safe place for you to come and be and engage at whatever level is comfortable for you. Okay. And with that, let's go ahead and start tapping. I forgot my stamp on my hand. And we're going to focus on things that seem simple that are in our way. So, like clutter being a big issue. And maybe you've got something more specific. Maybe you don't have piles of things around your house, but maybe you never had an empty sink. Maybe you just constantly have dishes. Or if you have a dishwasher, maybe it's never emptied. Your dishes are just always there. Or laundry, laundry's all over the floor, even though you have a laundry basket. Or the laundry is constantly in the washer or dryer rather than, folded nicely or hung up nicely in your closet. Maybe it's not your house, maybe it's your car where you've got, maybe trash laying around or just things that you haven't brought in. Maybe it's your garage, whatever, something that feels like it's in your way. Maybe it's your computer desktop, your email inbox, something that you see all the time and that irritation. Even though I've got this thing or things that seem simple but are in my way, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I am surrounded by easy tasks that cause me stress to not do, yet I don't do them, I choose to let go of judgment for that and deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I clearly see things that need to be done and I don't do them and I feel badly about it, I still choose to deeply and completely accept myself. This mess, this mess that I can see, this mess that's in my way, this mess that I could take care of, but I don't. My judgment about this mess, my judgment on what this mess must mean about me, the way I treat myself because of this mess. The negative feelings I have about myself because of this mess. Even though there's a lot of negativity surrounding all of this, I'm going to choose to accept myself anyway. It's where I am, and it's okay to acknowledge that. It's okay for me to acknowledge I'm not quite perfect yet. Acknowledging my mess, acknowledging my imperfections, acknowledging my judgments about my imperfections. Maybe I'm a bit of a mess. Maybe it's okay that I'm a bit of a mess. I wonder what I would say or feel or do if I saw this mess somewhere else, somewhere else where it's not mine. But maybe it's the mess of someone I care about, someone I love. Would I feel differently about it? I would definitely feel different about it. So, is this really about a mess, or is this about me being unacceptable? Is this about me having a standard for myself that I'm failing? And maybe I feel like a failure. Maybe I feel I'm not good enough. Maybe I feel I'm just not enough, don't have enough time, don't have enough space in my brain, don't have enough energy. Some way, I must have decided that's what this mess means. What this mess means about me. Everything I've decided that this mess means about me is 100% true. Nothing that I've decided what this mess means about me is true. None of it. Maybe some of what I've decided this mess means is true. To whatever degree that it's true, it's okay because I deeply and completely accept myself. I don't have to like it. I don't have to like the mess. But maybe this doesn't have to be my pass fail because maybe what this means is that I've prioritized other things. What other things in my life have I prioritized? So think about all the times you've spent moments in your day where you could have taken care of this mess, but you did something else. What were you doing? Were you spending time with a loved one? Were you taking care of something else? Were you working? Were you taking care of yourself? I acknowledge that I have a lot of priorities. And I acknowledge that I would also like for this mess to be gone. And maybe this mess will be gone soon. Maybe this mess is going to be around for a while before I figure it out. However long this mess is here for, maybe I can release the attachment that it means anything about me. This mess, this mess in my space, something for me to do, but it's not about who I am. And as I allow myself to release any connection of who I am attached to what I do, I'll still choose to deeply and completely accept myself as I work on that. Okay, let's take a moment to breathe that in. Okay, I'm going to take just a second and look at the chat. Okay, healthy food choices. If I miss you, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to read through all of them. But in my mind, I'm still like, start tapping again. So I'm a little bit in my own way in doing this. Okay, being able to relax, caring for others, some other physical pain. Okay, unknown, more physical pain. Okay, so I think there's, okay, tap on overwhelm. Okay, I see a few things on here that would really fit under overwhelm, especially connected to loved ones. So I'm going to pause on reading through what I found there. So physical pain, and then tapping on overwhelm and connection with another person. Um, I just want to answer a question real fast. Uh, Tapping for up for an hour, if that's what it takes. So that's a great question. And no, it doesn't necessarily take an hour. Something to pay attention to rather than time is how you're feeling. Okay. So you want to tap to where you feel a bit of a release. Um, if you're not aware of clinical tapping techniques, you can get stuck if you're not sure what direction maybe you need to go. Maybe you're tapping on something. Well, it's not changing. This isn't releasing what's happening. That's just an information. We'll shift to ask a different question. Be curious is what I always say on that. And we can go into that more in a video or in a different chat. So if you want to request a video that I can do on that, I'm more than happy to post that to the channel. um, an hour is a pretty in-depth tapping. So doing a full hour that's a lot of shifting. Tapping for about 20 minutes on one particular subject is plenty. You can even do 10. 10 minutes can be a very effective amount of time for one subject. So it doesn't necessarily take that long. It can take longer if you're new to it, if you're uncertain in how you're applying the techniques. But rather than judging time, going from, well, I felt really big emotions about it, and now it feels better, you can stop there. Or even if you're, well, I'm on a time constraint, it's okay for you to stop tapping, even if you're like, well, I'm not sure I got a knee change. But just end on, okay, well, I have to stop now, but I can always come back and pick this up later. So I will acknowledge that and give myself permission to do that. So that, and just like think of it as a conversation with a person. If you suddenly are in the middle of a conversation with someone and you realize, oh my goodness, I have to go, you wouldn't just stand up and walk away, right? Because the other person would be going, well, hey, So treat yourself as if you're in that situation and go, oh my goodness, we're in this great conversation. I know, but I've really got to run. So can we finish this later? I promise I'll come back. This was a great conversation. I really want to finish talking with you. And that's because you are communicating with, your two brains, your conscious and your subconscious. So you want to treat that kind of like a conversation. That's the best way I can kind of lump that together real fast. Okay, so let's tap for a little bit on physical pain. And there were several areas mentioned. So I'm going to be general. Please make it specific to you. So first, tune in on your body. You can go ahead and start tapping gently. And where is that pain? Where in your body is that pain? And where are the boundaries of that pain? If you've got a headache, don't just think headache. Think, okay, it's across my forehead down to my eyebrows and then over kind of halfway through my temple. And then it's a jagged line across, kind of to the middle of my head. Be very specific about where this pain is in your body and get as clear as you can on what it is. Is there density to it? Is it thick? Is it more like a vapor, like a smoke, or does it feel like a goo, like a tar or something sticky? Does it feel like molten metal, just something that went in there and just solidified and it's just immobilized something? Um, how strong does it feel? Does it feel pretty fluid and movie? Um, something that would be easy to shift out or something that feels pretty impenetrable? Does it have a temperature? Is it warmer than the rest of your body? Is it colder than the rest of your body? Does it have a texture? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Does it have a color? If you were to look at it, do you see a glowing red? Do you see a dark brown or a matte black? What would it look like to you? Even though right now I'm experiencing this pain in my body, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though I'm feeling this pain in my body right now, I choose to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. Even though I have this pain, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. This pain in my body, acknowledging this pain, comfort for my body, compassion for my body. I hear you, body. I hear you in your expressions of concern, of injury, of stress. I see you. I see you, and it's okay for you to talk to me. I give you permission to communicate with me. This communication from my body. I wonder how much of this communication is stress how much of what I'm feeling is to get my attention so that my body gets what it needs. My body getting my attention. Attention for my body. Releasing the stress from my body. I'll focus back in on that pain. Just where it is, just acknowledge it, just see it. Now we're going to say a few phrases directly to the pain. I see you. I see you here in my body. I understand some reasons about why you're here. I acknowledge that you are here. And I appreciate you letting me know that this needed my attention. And now that I am aware, and if I agree to protect and love this part of my body so that it can heal, maybe you can release what part of this signal is no longer needed. Releasing the pain. Caring for my body. And as I continue to learn how to listen and care for my body, I also choose to deeply and completely accept myself along the way. Okay, let's breathe that in. I had a little bit of a headache just from about the middle of my ear, just in the occiput area. And that for me is gone now. So thank you for those suggestions. I hope that you received a benefit from that as well. Okay, let's take a second. I'm going to shake a little bit. I'm going to get a drink of water, actually. Water during tapping is important because part of what we're doing is triggering different synapse responses in the brain, right, which are electrical. The way our electricity works in our body needs moisture. So if you find yourself getting thirsty while you're tapping, that's why. So it's always good to have water nearby and hydrate before, during, and after you've been tapping. Sometimes when a person is having trouble releasing something, they drink a glass of water and then they start seeing a difference. So it really can make that big of a, a difference in your tapping. An effect. That's the word I was looking for. It can make that big of an effect. Okay, so now we're moving on to overwhelm. And overwhelm specifically in dealing with loved ones who are having their own issues that you're trying to assist with, that you're aware of. Again, I'm going to use general statements, make it more specific to you. You could use their name. You can use the issue that they're going through. Even though right now I feel a lot of things about these hard times with my loved one, I deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now things are so heavy and there's only so much I can do. I choose to deeply and completely accept myself. Even though right now I feel so full of emotion because of what's happening, and I don't know how or when things are going to change. I'm choosing right now to deeply and completely accept myself anyway. My loved one, what my loved one is going through. Everything that I feel. All of this weight. Even though I'm not the one directly going through this, the way I feel is still valid. My experience is valid. I don't feel like my experience right now is valid. And it's wrong for me to put any focus on my own healing right now. Even though I'm confused about what to do for them or for me right now, I deeply and completely accept myself anyway. It feels like everything involving them, everything involving me is surrounded by what's happening. It's everywhere through our lives right now. We don't ever have a moment without it. Not able to escape the reality of this situation. My loved one, this situation, I feel stuck in how I feel about it. It's like it's stuck in the middle of expression. I can't cry. I can't sleep. I can't find peace. I can't let it out. But I wonder if it's impossible to get rid of it. Could I find another way to govern it? Is it possible that there's a way we could sneak away from it? And maybe it wouldn't be for long, but maybe long enough. Long enough for a break, long enough to have a good moment that doesn't have to include this experience. I'm open to that. But how could that be? How could we sneak away? Hmm. Now, tappers, you can get creative here and what that looks like for you. Maybe you can see yourself in this place where this situation exists, and maybe it's kind of like a vapor monster, or something, and it sees you and it keeps you in this room. But maybe you've got like a cardboard cutout of yourself and your loved one, and you can put those up, and you guys run away, and then emotionally, you can escape. And maybe emotionally, we can talk about memories, or we can watch a favorite movie, or play a favorite game. Just enjoy time together, whatever way that looks like. Maybe we could stuff it in a box or send it on an airplane. And maybe it doesn't come back, and maybe it does. But what matters is that we can get that time, moments of time, moments of time with my loved one. And however long the moment is, however successful I am at getting away, however long between moments that I'm able to achieve. I acknowledge any amount of success that I have with this and deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, breathe in. I hope that gives you some smiles, some feeling of empowerment, a little bit of empowerment over the situations that you're experiencing. Okay, I'm going to go back to the chat. Pressure of parenting. Hi, Leanne. You're not too late. Anytime you get here is great. A set reminder video. There is a reminder list that you can get on for when this event happens. I will put it in the comments after this live is over. So I'll put a link there where you can sign up to get notifications. But it will be every Tuesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time. So even if you want to put it in your phone calendar, I will always be here at that time. Okay, I'm seeing something on flashbacks, long-term COVID, see some digital clutter, accepting nearing lifespan. Hopefully you got relief from what we just did. Thank you, Mo, for your comment. Okay, I'm going to address something that Patricia is asking. Tapping under arms closer to the armpit or down low where you're tapping. So depending on what acupoint chart you look at, it's on the spleen meridian, right? And on some charts, I would say it's more popular now. The more popular charts show the spleen meridian ending up around here. Sometimes on other charts, maybe older charts, they're a little bit, it's a few inches down further. But this is also along the liver meridian. Um, I gravitate down here. I have to remind myself to come up here and tap. So I don't know if it's just this point is just a point that I prefer, um, that is good for me to tap on. It wouldn't surprise me with it being on liver, just because my functioning rhythm is wood. So the liver meridian is a place of mine. Um, but the short answer would be both places are correct. Both places are fine. If up here is hard for you to reach, crossing your arms is an easier way to do it. But the typical spot is 4 finger widths from the crease of your armpit. So right about here is the typical place to tap. But you're right, I do tend to tap lower. So I hope that um, illuminates the answer for you there. Okay. About escape, brought an emotional release. Good. Okay, help a kid with a needle phobia. That's interesting, Carla. Thank you for bringing that up. We haven't tapped on anything with kiddos. Let's do that for the last little bit. And this is a great thing to bring up because even if you don't have children, you were a child, at some point. And there were definitely times during your childhood that you weren't supported in a way that you wished you would have been. Whether you had a mostly happy childhood and it was very rare for you to experience that, or if you had a childhood that was a lot more intense and traumatic and that was kind of a way of life for you. Um, when we have an experience like that, it is something that our brains will latch onto, that will hold on to. So whether it's something that you experienced a lot or very infrequently, it is something that you can tap into and likely find a release for. Because when we're kids, if you think about what trauma is as an adult, it's very, very different than what trauma is as a child, right? As an adult, when we perceive a threat to our lives, it typically has to be something pretty extreme, right? Or at least we have a pretty big fear already engaged in something for us to feel like our lives are truly in danger. For a child, for their life to feel like it's in danger, it could be as simple as I'm in bed alone and the monster under my bed is about to come eat me, right? If they've got a really active imagination, if they hear a bug bump into their, window from the outside and they think, oh my gosh, that's a monster, trying to break into the house and come get me. Whatever fear they have can be spiked from something that as an adult seems very, very small, but as a child, it's really a big deal. Um, I was afraid of bad ending. Okay. So tapping with a child, they're very in the moment, and this can work for teenagers as well. One thing you can do if you can tap or get them to tap, that's helpful. But even just tapping in front of them, with them seeing you tapping, we have what's called mirror neurons in our brain, and they would know what this would feel like in their own body, and they're seeing you do that, and their brain is processing, watching you do that. So even watching someone have a tapping session, even if they're not engaged, their brain can receive a release from that. But just talking about it in the moment and what's happening. So if you can remember back to something, um, for people who have children now, something that you're working with, um, what is something that is in their way? The needle phobia, the anxiety. If you have your teenager that was mentioned, um, something for you personally, something from your own childhood. Something for me was, I was really sensitive to different substances and I wasn't believed. One of them was, cat litter. Cat litter, oh, it made me feel like I was gonna pass out, and nobody likes changing the cat box, you know, um, and I am a dramatic person anyway. I'm very animated, but I wasn't believed. That was really something, that was bothering me, and, that really hurt my feelings. And we found out many years later that I have a pretty severe allergy to a lot of preservatives. So it's believed that that's what it was. The doctor specifically said you should stay away from cat litter, like don't ever go near it. Um, but that little child of me didn't get that validation. The older part of me did. So taking that back, and just having a conversation. So it's called inner child work, where you see that version of yourself and you can ask, "What is it? Tell me. Why are you sad? What's going on?" So what this would look like for me is me saying, "Why are you sad? What's going on?" Well, nobody believes me. I reached out to the people who take care of me about something that makes my head hurt. It makes me feel really yucky, like I'm getting sick, and they didn't believe me. In fact, I got in trouble. I got yelled at. They got angry at me. And they said I was making it up so that I didn't have to do a chore. And I don't want to do the chore, but it really does hurt me. And I feel like that doesn't matter. And I feel like it's not safe for me to talk about things that are really sensitive, that aren't sensitive for everyone. Because when I talk about things, that aren't true for everyone, I get in trouble and I get told that I'm a liar. And I am not a liar. And this made me feel bad about myself, even though everyone thought I was lying. I deeply and completely accept myself. I know that you are telling the truth. I know that you are not a liar. I know that. And I deeply and completely accept you. I felt a pretty big shift just from that right there. I don't know that I personally need anything else on that, but let's say, just in case you've got other layers to that, um, I got made fun of. I got made fun of for this thing that was tender for me, was sensitive for me. And I felt all alone. That nobody would listen to me, nobody cared. Whatever the end of their statement is, whatever the end of that expression is, whether it's your inner child or the person sitting in front of you, your child, I hear you. I'm sorry that you felt alone. I'm sorry that you felt like nobody was there with you. Even though you felt all alone, I'm right here. I'm there with you. I see you. I don't know if I can fix what's happening, but I'm going to do everything I can to be here with you. I'm going to give you my absolute best. And even if together we don't succeed at figuring it out, at least we know we've got each other. And I deeply and completely love and accept you. I see you. I acknowledge you. And I deeply and completely love and accept you. And if it's something that doesn't feel acceptable, so that they're having trouble saying, well, it's not okay. It's not okay that I'm afraid of needles. You could say, well, I accept the parts of me that are so brave and aren't afraid at all of needles. And I accept the parts of me that are afraid of needles. It's okay to be afraid of needles. It's an unusual thing to get poked like that. And maybe sometimes it means that I'm being cared for. I don't ever have to like it. And it's actually okay if I'm always afraid of it. And whether or not I'm okay with needles or I'm not okay with needles, I choose to accept all parts of me. And I cannot like needles and I can be brave. And I cannot like needles and not like what happens with needles and know that I'll be okay. Even if I don't like it, it's a very short amount of time and I'm not alone. And I deeply and completely accept myself. Okay, I'll take a deep breath. So I hope that last little bit was helpful. If you've got additional questions on tapping with others, tapping with your inner child, like I said, you're always welcome to suggest videos for the recorded videos that I do. You can leave questions in the chat, something that I can go back and answer afterwards. I go through and I check all of the messages on all of the videos that I do by myself. So it is me answering. If you want to send me a video idea, my email is amanda@eftuniverse.com. And I hope that you feel better. I hope that this time that we've spent together, you have felt uplifted and connected, and you feel a little bit more at peace. Your energy feels a little bit more um, unscrambled in your body. And know that I will be thinking about you, that I will be sending you big hugs throughout the week. And I'll see you next Tuesday at 1 p.m. Pacific. Take care. Mwah.